Hello, 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 everyone. Good morning, good afternoon, good evening, everyone. This is Fiber Strike 95. Welcome back to another of our Explore National Park series, our Sunday series. And today we'll do Park 35 of 63. We'll be covering another national park from the New World Update, Capitol Reef National Park in southern Utah. So this is the last of 5 Utah national parks that we're covering here in this series. And this one may be one of the more underrated parks of the Utah parks. Probably the most underrated one of them all. Really neat park. Plenty of really cool experiences to visit. So before we get started, I do want to say hello to everyone in chat and all that stuff. Hello to all the lurkers and stuff. I hope you're having a good weekend. A lot of stuff went on this weekend, of course, not just with me in the streaming community, but a lot of things going on in the world right now. Mainly with the World Cup, of course, that's going on. Some absolute crazy stuff. So lots of stuff going on. So hello to all the lurkers and mods. I hope you're having a good day. So let's go over our flight plan briefly. Go over this flight plan. And we're going to start here at Provo, of course. We're in Provo, home of BYU, Birmingham Young University, Brigham Young. From there, we'll head over to our first stop at Manti FRM Airport, 41 uniform. Then from there, we'll climb over into Hanksville Airport, just outside of Canyonlands National Park. From there, we'll go through Capitol Reef National Park. We'll go through Caneville, fly along the scenic routes, of course. Then we'll enter into the national park itself at Boonham Cabin. We'll actually make a landing near Hickman Natural Bridge. We'll make a landing near there. Go over to the Goosenecks Overlook and check out more of the scenery. Then we'll fly down south through the national park. We'll take some pictures and then make our stop at Bullfrog Basin Airport, just outside of Glen Canyon Natural Recreation Area. So that's going to be our flight plan for today. Pretty simple plan. So we'll take the Savage Norton here today. Beautiful aircraft. Should be good enough for this area here, of course. So we'll go over this area here as well. So let's go ahead and get this all set up, of course, with the aircraft. So we're going to go ahead and set all this up. So we'll do that. We'll get our waypoint set up. Our flight plan should be pretty simple. So we're going to go ahead and taxi down to runway 18 at Provo. This airport, by the way, is the main gateway to Provo. It's part of the big old Salt Lake City metro area, which comprises of most of Utah's population. And of course, Provo is the most famous for being the home of Brigham Young University, BYU, which is operated by the Church of Jesus Christ of Latter-day Saints. And it's actually Utah's fourth biggest city, of course. So that's Provo. Go ahead and for the altitude for today, for our first leg, our altitude will be at 10,000 feet. So we're going to go 10,000. We'll climb around 800 feet per minute. And here we go. We bid farewell to Provo. Next stop, 41 uniform will be our first stop of the day. Hey Quartz, good to see you, my dude. How you doing, my dude? Here's a shot for you, my dude. We're going to make our way down to Capitol Reef National Park in southern Utah. It'll be the last of the 5 national parks we'll be covering here on this series, of course. So before we talk about our notes, I do want to talk a bit about some of the stuff that's happened over this past week. Our game day flight happened yesterday, of course. So our game day flight is going to our game day flight was Norway versus England, and it was a victory for the English. England won 2-1 in extra time after Jude Bellingham got a brace to give them the win. So England once again are in the semifinals for the first time since 2018. Have made it to the semis. Of course, then we have Argentina, Switzerland. The Swiss played incredibly badly, but eventually, with them being the man down, they gave up 2 goals to Argentina in the second half of extra time to make it 3-1 Argentina. So for the semifinals, it's going to happen on Tuesday and Wednesday. Is going to be the semifinals: France versus Spain, and in Argentina and England. So for me as a fan, I'm hoping Spain and England win their matches. Spain and England win. Because either it would be Spain, who haven't been in the World Cup finals since 2010, and England, their best shot at winning the World Cup since 19... Who won the game yesterday? No, England. England won the match. 2-1. England won it. The English did it. England won that match, so. And that means our final is our next game day flight is going to be the World Cup final on. And that's because our World Cup final is going to be on July 19th. And that is the World Cup final. And that's going to be our next game day flight, is the final, of course. I wouldn't be surprised if it's France. Yeah, it definitely sucks. I mean, Holland had an amazing tournament, of course. But in the end, England just had the superior talent depth. And that's what got done. was they had better depth, and that's what got England a big win in the World Cup. So, pretty big stuff going on here, of course. So, we'll be going through all this as well, moving forward. But yeah, basically every single thing but one of the World Cup of our game day fights has been the World Cup this summer. So, which makes sense. It is the biggest sport event on Earth. So, we'll go ahead and get talking to about Capitol Reef National Park. We're going to be getting to talk about it for a bit. But yeah, we can see the Utah landscape. Very cool landscape here in the state. Beautiful area in the world to do some flying, obviously. So, so let's talk about Capitol Reef National Park here in Colorado. So this area is located in south central Utah. It's about 60 miles long from north to south axis and just 6 miles wide on the east to west axis on average. The park was established in 1971 to preserve 241,000 acres of desert landscape and open year round. It's open all year, with May and September having the most visitors. The area was originally nicknamed Wayne Wonderland because of its by local boosters Ephraim P. Pechtel and Joseph S. Hickman, because of course it's in Wayne County, Utah. It first became a national monument in 1937 by FDR to protect the area's colorful canyons, ridges, buttes, and monoliths. However, it didn't become a national park until 1971. The majority of the nearly 100-mile long upthrust formation called the Waupaca Fold is preserved within the park. Capitol Reef is especially rugged and spectacular segment of the fold by the Fremont River. So, pretty beautiful area, of course. Capitol Reef, really neat park. So, we'll be paying a visit to the national park. So, we'll fly over the park. We'll make a few a landing or two. We'll find Capitol Dome. So, some really cool stuff about the park. Really neat. Last year, in 2024, 1.4 million people visited the national park in 2024. which is pretty high for a national park. Not as many as some of the other parks, but definitely pretty decent, of course. To say the very least. So, the next thing about it is, of course, geography-wise. Now, one of the really neat things about Capitol Reef is the park's geography. It encompasses the Water Pocket Fold, which is a wrap in the Earth's crust that's around 65 million years old. It is the largest exposed monocline in North America. And monocline basically is a step fold in which rock consists of a zone of a steeper dip within the otherwise horizontal gently dipping sequence. In this fold, newer and older layers of Earth are folding each other into an S shape. This wrap, probably caused by the same colliding continental plates that created the Rocky Mountains, has weathered and eroded over millennia to expose layers of rock and fossils. And the rock here is consistently of brilliantly colored sandstone cliffs, gleaming white domes, and contrasting layers of stone and earth to create the unique colors that this park is very famous for, of course. So pretty cool stuff. And of course, the next thing about the park, obviously, as well, the park is also filled with canyons as well. Cliffs, towers, domes, and arches. The Fremont River had cut through parts of the Water Pocket Fold, but most of this area is made of deserts. Now, the fold forbs form a north-south barrier that's barely been breached by roads, and the early settlers referred to them as reefs, from which the second part of the park had got its famous nicknames. And mainly the main road that goes through it is State Route 24. Is the main road that goes through all this. Which is pretty cool. We'll get through that pretty early. So let's see who's flying along with us for briefly. Let's see who's briefly flying along with us. Oh, there's Super Typhon. Good to see you, my dude. Thanks for coming along with us. Flying through more scenery. If you look to our right, on the right side of our cockpit, we can see Mount Nebo here in Utah. It's part of the Wasatch Range. This is among the southern part of it. So we'll see Mount Nebo. So we're going through this pretty easily, of course. So I hope your all weekend is going well. I hope you guys are having a very enjoyable weekend, of course. Lots of stuff going on for plenty of you guys. I probably have some major stuff going on this weekend. For me, not really too much, but so we're going through this area, of course. Hey, we got a follow from Forster. Good to see you, Forster. I thank you for the follow. We're doing Capitol Reef National Park here today. For our National Park series, this is part 35 of 63. I hope you're having a good day. I hope you're having a good week. So we're going to continue moving forward. So we'll continue on moving forward. So a little bit appreciated. So a bit about Capitol Reef National Park. The history of it dates back to Native American times, when the Fremont culture Native Americans lived near the perennial Fremont River in the northern part of the park for in the year 1000, and they mainly irrigated crops of maize and squash and stored their grain in stone granaries, in part made from the numerous black basalt boulders nearby. In the 13th century, however, all the Native American cultures underwent sudden change due to a long drought, causing the Fremont settlements and fields to be abandoned for many years. And many years after the Fremont culture left, the Paiutes moved into the area. These people named the Fremont granaries Moki huts and thought they were a race of tiny people. But they're the ones who mainly lived in the native tribes that mainly lived in the area. Following the American Civil War, officials of the Church of Latter-day Saints in Salt Lake City sought to establish missions in the remotest niches of the Intermountain West. And in 1866, a quasi-military expedition in pursuit of natives penetrated the high valleys in the west. In the 1870s, settlers moved into the valleys, eventually establishing settlements including Lola, Fremont, Lyman, Bicknell, and Torrey, Utah. And the Mormons mainly settled this area in the 1880s and established Junction, later named Fruita, Caneville, and Aldrich. In addition to farming, lime was also extracted from the limestone, and uranium was extracted early in the 20th century. Of course, for this area as well, there had been plenty of efforts to protect this area during the earlier years. In 1921, local Ephraim Portman Pectel established a booster club in Torrey in 1921. And Pector pressed a promotional campaign, furnishing stories to the periodicals and newspapers. In his efforts, he was increasingly aided by his brother-in-law, Joseph S. Hickman, to help protect the area, of course. And eventually raised money to have promotional photographs to get this area protected. And eventually, in 1937, Franklin D. Roosevelt, put this area as a national monument. And the area was around 37,000 acres originally. And of course, during the 1950s, they did have to establish protection, as Kelly was deeply troubled by National Park Management and seeing to demands of the U.S. Atomic Energy Conservation Commission that Capitol Reef National Monument to be open for uranium prospecting. He felt the decision had been a mistake and destructive for the national long-term interest. Turns out there is not enough ore to be worth mining. And then, of course, Charles Kelly got even more permanent help in protecting the monument, thanks to Park Ranger Brett Clark, who transferred in. In the 60s, a lot of new development had been for park visitation, and eventually, as well. And eventually, in 1971, by President Richard Nixon, Capitol Reef was upgraded from National Monument to National Park via Public Law 92207 in 1971. And that's where this Capitol Reef has become a national park ever since. So that is a bit about the history of Capitol Reef. Hey, good to see you playing neutral. I hope you're doing well this morning. Thank you for the shout, Super Typhon. Definitely check out Player Neutral, a longtime favorite of mine. Great guy, love his content. So we're going to go ahead and descend down to 7,000 feet. We're about to reach our first stop, of course. So we're going to go ahead and descend. So we'll make our way through here. We were just talking about the history of Capitol Reef National Park in beautiful Utah. Stunning area, of course, if you guys never been to Capitol Reef. Really cool area. It's been updated for the New World Update. It's one of the ones that's been updated on the channel. So we're gonna visit many of the parks that have been updated, of course, and this was one of them. So here we go, guys. We're just about to send. So really cool stuff. Very neat park. So we're nearly about on the way to the first stop here of the day. We'll be making our way down over to Manti Infram Airport. So, like I said, Utah's a gorgeous state, and I'm very, very excited to actually do this with you guys. So before I want to ask you guys a question, have you guys ever got the chance to visit the national park yourselves? That's my question to you all for today. Have you guys gotten a chance to visit this beautiful park? So that's probably my big question for all you guys in there as well. Because like I said, I think that's a very important question if you guys ever got the chance to visit the park. So, I've only visited a handful of national parks. Acadia, Great Smoky Mountains, Acadia are probably the two parks I visited. So far in the trip. And of course, I did visit one in Canada as well. It's Saguenay National Park in Canada, of course. So I think our airport is straight ahead of us. And I think that's our airport down there. Yep, it is. It's our airport. 41 uniform. So let's go ahead and get her down, of course. Thankfully, this shouldn't be hard with the bush plane. So let's see what we're going to do here today. So here we go. So here we go. Should be an easy landing here. Perfecto. There's an easy landing. Huh, too easy. So we'll just park right here for a bit. So if anyone else wants to join in, we're on the Southeast Asian Sur. And our route here today is going to be, here's our route. So that's going to be our route. So we'll stay right here for a bit as everyone else gets to fly on in. There you go. Just had to sign in a bit of a journal, a guest book. this one. So let's go ahead and get ready for the second leg into Haynesville. So for this one, we're going to be needing to go to 12,000 feet, which is going to be the max cruising altitude for this flight. So here we go. We're going to climb up to 12,000 feet. Here we go. Flying up to 12,000 feet. So we're soaring high, baby. So here we go. We're going to be climbing up to 12,000 feet. So we're going to climb over into and we're going to be flying over quite a few mountains here in this area, and also Monte La Salle National Forest as well. So we'll be flying through some beautiful mountain scenery here of this part of Utah as we climb our way up. So, beautiful areas though, of course. So, we got a couple more slides. We've got 2 more slides coming up for this one. So, we'll get through this. Yeah, look at the scenery here, guys. This is absolutely really cool scenery here this morning. Look at the scenery here. All the different peaks and stuff. Super cool to see. So, we'll be making our way over to Capitol Reef pretty quickly. So, let's go ahead and talk about the 2 slides, get those 2 out of the way, so we can talk about some other stuff. So, first thing first about Capitol Reef is this park's geology. And geology plays a pretty big role in this national park. The area of the park was actually once the edge of a shallow sea that invaded the land in the Permian period, creating the Cutler Formation. The Permian is around from 298 to 251 million years ago, which spanned 47 million years. Only the sandstone, the youngest member of the Cutler Formation, is exposed at the White Rim, is exposed at the park. The deepening sea left carbonate deposits forming the Kaibab limestone, which is the same one that rims the Grand Canyon to the southwest. During the Triassic, streams of deposited reddish-brown silt that became the siltstone of the Moenkopi Formation. And more importantly, too, the members of the Grand Canyon group were mainly all laid down to the middle to late Jurassic of increasing aridity. That includes the Wingate Sandstone, the sand dunes on the shore of the ancient sea, the Kayenta Formation, thin embedded layers of sand deposited by slow-moving streams across the plains, and the Navajo sandstone you see here, huge fossilized sand dunes from a massive Sahara-like desert. Then you also have the San Rafael group, which is the other one here, consists of 4 Jurassic formations. The Carmel, which is gypsum sand and limey silt. The Entrada Sandstone from Barrier Island sandbars. The Curtis Formation, conglomerate sandstone shale. And Somerville, reddish brown mud and white sand deposit in tidal flats. So that's kind of it, the main things with the geology, mainly 2 major groups. Formed a lot of the rocks and stone and stuff you see here in the park are from these 2 formations, and that is the key to this park, of course. Now, finally, during activities, there is a very wide range of activities here in the park. For both tourists, both ranger-led and self-guided, including auto touring, hiking, backpacking, camping, bicycling, on paved and unpaved roads only, horseback riding, canyoneering, and rock climbing. The orchards planted by the Mormon pioneers are still maintained by the Park Service. From early March to mid-October, various fruits, cherries, apricots, peaches, pears, or apples can be harvested by visitors for a fee. So you can have fresh cherries, peaches, and apples. The hiking trail guide is available at the visitor center for day hikes and backcountry hiking. backcountry access has to require a free permit, of course. And there are multiple trails all throughout the park, but some of the most popular trails include the Cassidy Arch Trail, the Hickman Bridge Trail, which leads us to the Natural Bridge, and more. In recent years, canyoneering has grown more popularity in the park, and it's a recreation sport that involves rappelling and may require swimming and other tight rope work. And some people can take one day, but many of them go for multiple days. It has to require overnight camping is permitted, but you have to have a backcountry pass. But you have to plan around the weather because of the flash floods and extreme heat. Needs to be careful about it too. So yeah, that's just the list of activities in the park. If you guys want more information about Capitol Reef National Park, here's the website, of course. I'll pin this in the comments if you. I'll pin this for you guys. I'll keep it up for about five minutes. So we'll keep this up for 5 minutes. You guys are going to see the website. So now we're entering into the more arid part of the landscape. Look at this. Look at the stone. Look at that. Flagstaff Peak is where we're at right now. Look at all the stuff covered in stone. Isn't that crazy? And now we're entering into the desert, of course. So I'm gonna go ahead and plan this into 8,000 feet. We'll descend down to 8,000. Or we'll just descend down to 7,500. So we'll go. But yeah, now we're getting to the really arid part of this now. So we're just 135 nautical miles out from our final stop at Wolfhard Basin. We'll go through. We're just about 42 nautical miles from our next stop in Hinksville. So we'll mainly be going through this area, of course. So we're getting pretty close. Look at this. Look at the canyon of rocks. This is crazy. We haven't even gotten to the park yet. We can see some more rocks and canyons, of course. So Hanksville is going to be where we're going to be next. So here we go. Hey, Nightwolf, good to see you. Happy Sunday to you as well. I hope you're doing well. Here's a shot for you, Nightwolf. Definitely check out Nightwolf49 and his content. Great stuff. He also runs a very well-known virtual airline, Wolf Air. So we're going to explore Capitol Reef National Park today. We're about to reach our second stop. We're about halfway to our second stop. So going through this area, of course. So yeah. So after this World Cup ends, by the way, for next content streams, if you guys want to know what's going on for the next week, of course, next week is the World Cup final. On Friday, of course, is the World Cup final, which is, I'm hoping it's Spain versus England, but more likely it's probably France and Argentina. We'll go over Mbappe versus Messi, of course. Then the first one after the events of the World Cup will be the MLS's Hellas Real Derby. Columbus Crew versus FC Cincinnati, of course. So that will be the first one we'll be doing after the World Cup. Basically 2 straight MLS games. Then of course we head to Japan in August, and then the last one before my trip in August is going to be the Cardinals and Cubs. So I'll be missing a few games, of course, but it's all part of the schedule, of course. But this one, for this year's soccer season, or European football season, I'm mainly trying to be a lot more diverse in the places we're going to go. So I already picked out the schedule for things already in advance, all the way up to May, actually. Yes, I picked all of them up to May, of course. So I've already got everything set up in advance. So no surprises here. I'm going to make this pretty interesting. So looking forward to that. Hey, Ian Fisher, good to see you as well. Thank you for giving him a shout too. Check out Ian Fisher's streams as well. And of course, our next national park in this series, after Capitol Reef, we'll be visiting Texas's very well-known Guadalupe Mountains National Park in Texas. It's the Guadalupe National Park Mountains in Texas. We'll be flying from New Mexico. We'll be going through the trip. We'll fly over from New Mexico. Yeah, but we'll fly through New Mexico into to Guadalupe Mountains. So should be a pretty fun trip. Mm-hmm. So that would be a pretty fun trip. We might be flying through a bit of New Mexico. yeah, we're getting very, very close to our next stop. Ian, yeah, definitely a legend. Ian Fisher, absolutely. So look at the scenery here, guys. Look at guys. If you take a look at a second just to see the scenery here, just look how crazy this place is. We're getting closer to Capitol Reef, of course. But man, look at the landscape here. This is absolutely stunning, man. Utah. I can't wait to see what the other Utah parks are kind of like. But yes, apparently all 5 Utah national parks just got updated. So, I mean, it already one of the most stunning regions of the country is already going to be even better. So this is Horse Valley Wilderness. Oh my goodness gracious. Look at this. Hello. Yeah, look at this place. Wow. Holy moly, as an Irish Egypt would say, look at the state of that. Look at the state of this. Oh man. I would hate to get lost here. Man, this sim is so impressive here. Just super impressive area. I cannot wait to see what Capitol Reef looks like now. I can't wait to see what Capitol Reef's gonna look like. This is gonna be absolutely gorgeous. So, this is just unbelievable. The canyons here are absolutely gorgeous. Are you kidding? Oh man. There's new places in the United States I still haven't done a long flying. This is one of them. So yeah, Hanksville is coming up. We're right around Goblin Valley State Park. Oh man, this entire area. So I'm so excited to check out, see what all of the other parks in the update include. But they updated a lot of the national parks that we've not only already visited, but especially the new ones we haven't visited yet. Guadalupe Mountains has gotten updated, which should be really interesting to see. I can't wait to explore all of them with you guys. This is going to be a lot of fun. And of course, if you recalled a couple weeks ago, we'll also be revisiting these parks that we've already done but have already been updated. We'll be revisiting them. That way we can see them with the full update. I think it would be fair, to say at the very least. Super, super cool. Yeah. This update's already probably much one of my favorite ones. So, beautiful stuff here. Hanksville's coming up soon. Hanksville, by the way, only has a population around 158 people. That's from what I read. So we don't really have that many more people left to visit, of course. So, what a stunning area in the city. So, just absolutely incredible canyon area. This. So. 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 We're about to arrive at our next stop, Hanksville Airport. So. We'll arrive here. And we'll prepare for the last trip, last leg, of course. Yeah, Hanksville, small town of 158 people. Hanksville Quarry is nearby, and the Mars Desert Research Station is 7 miles northwest, which is one of the main research stations to simulate Mars habitats. Mainly, this area grew with tourism to Capitol Reef National Park, Lake Powell, the Henry Mountains, and Goblin Valley State Park. During the Wild West times, it was a supply post for Butch Cassidy and the Wild Bunch, who would hide out at Robber's Roost in the desert southeast. And of course, this area was trying to build for live uranium mining. So, yeah, can't wait to explore this park. So we're gonna go ahead and make our next stop. So there it is, Hanksville Airport. Very close to our first stop. Second stop, I mean. Sorry. Yeah, I've just been around his place for a bit. Woke up a little late, so. Hmm. I think I have to shack in my system. That can't be good. So here we go, guys. Hanksville. So there you go, guys. We made it to our second stop of the day here in Hanksville Airport. So we'll stay here and time out. Look at balls. Oh, that just destroyed aircraft. So we're gonna be staying. We'll be waiting here for a minute, and then we'll go ahead and if anyone else wants to join on in, Southeast Asia server, and we're on our route is 41. We're at Kilo Hotel Victor Echo. That's where we're at currently. just 93 nautical miles from our final stop. So we only got that much more left to go. So we're going to go ahead and get ready for the third and final leg. So we're going to go ahead and get going on that. Also, one last thing. And then for this one, we'll fly around 6,500 feet, 6,000 feet. So we're going to go ahead and get going. So here we go. Fly high. From there, we'll turn into 257 degrees, and we'll make our way over to Capitol Reef National Park here. Absolutely gorgeous. Straight ahead of us is Mount Ellen Peak. See that big peak over there? That's Mount Ellen Peak ahead of us. We'll go through. Yeah, this has been an absolutely stunning flight so far. Very much looking forward to So yeah, this here is the town of Hanksville. We're about to. So yeah, there's little Hanksville down below us. So we're now going to head our way over to Capitol Reef, and there she is. If you look to our right, we can see one of the boots out in the distance. These are some of the mazes out in the distance, and this here is Factored Boot. Over in this area is the Canesville Mesa. So we're going to see some of the mazes here. Now, of course, for our GA landing, we're going to do one near. We're going to land one around Capitol Dome, and we'll also do one near Hickman Natural Bridge. Will be our 2 bush lanes for today, but we'll mainly just focus on just do some flying over and stuff. So we got 2 of them today. So let's go over and cover our final 2 slides for today. For today's slides, we'll cover the last 2. Our first slide is Capitol Dome here in Utah, 6,100 foot elevation dome. And it's situated 2.5 miles east of the park's visitor center and southeast of the larger Navajo Dome at nearly 6,500 feet. It towers 800 feet above the Fremont River in State Route 24, and it features its dome-like shape, reminding many explorers and settlers of the dome of the U.S. Capitol in Washington, D.C., and it's what got its name from. Now, the dome is composed of Navajo sandstone, which is believed to have formed around 180 million years ago as a giant land sea. In a dry, dry climate, wind blew over the sand dunes, creating large, sweeping crossbeds which date to the Jurassic. And really cool stuff, which is really cool. Like I said, very neat place. Very neat place to visit. The last little slide for today is Hickman Natural Bridge, which is a 125-foot tall natural bridge. It spans 133 feet, making it one of the largest rock spans in the park. The sandstone bridge was carved out of geological formation of Kenyatta Formation 65 million years ago, flowed by flowing water coursing down the rock and eventually breaking through the shale. Due to its proximity to Fremont River, the Capitol Reef region was settled by a lot of people. There was a significant rockfall that happened in 2013 at the trailhead. However, assistance of crews from nearby canyonlands, the trail was realigned around the debris pile. It opened 6 months later. The natural bridge could be accessed via a 1.8 mile out and back trail from Hickman Bridge Trailhead in Utah State Route 24. And the trail goes under and around the bridge and is considered moderate difficulty by the Park Service due to its switchbacks and trail. So we're going to cover these two today. So that wraps up all the slides and information for today's stream. So now we're going to get ready to explore this absolutely gorgeous area. So we'll get closer to the mesas, of course. So yeah, these are all mesas, by the way. Really cool stuff. Yeah, what a gorgeous place. I wonder if you guys are enjoying this as much as I am with the scenery and stuff. Like I said, this sim is just so remarkable. This, like, 2024 is so remarkable with this stuff. I mean, 2020 was nice, but this just takes it to a whole new level of beautiful scenery. So, beautiful stuff. So we're getting near Route 24. Yeah, I'm going to take a picture of this mesa, of course. Absolutely huge mesa. Yeah, that's just so impressive. So once we get there, we'll turn left and we'll make our way to the national park. We'll be arriving to the national park. This is just really cool. Flying along canyons and mazes and all that. That's just like I said, that makes it even cooler, too. So I wanted to ask you guys one more major question for this sort of stuff. So the question is, what am I going to do after this series is over, of course? I know the National Park series isn't going to run forever. So I think it would end around 2027, at least, like mid-2027. And of course, we have all the redo streams, too, the redux to do. But I guess for the redux, we could do multiple national parks in the redo. So we do maybe 2 national parks each, depending on the size of how big they are. Like, for example, like Sequoia, Crater Lake, we could do 2 of them each. That'll speed up the process significantly. Don't you guys think that would be a good idea? I'm gonna go ahead and go up another 500 feet. And now here it is, Capitol Reef National Park. Yeah, just look at this place. Now that's just impressive. Just look at this place. This is just gorgeous. What a stunning little area, of course, of the United States. So now we're going to enter into the heart of the national park. We'll make our first landing at the top of Capitol Dome, which will give us a good view of Navajo Dome and the Natural Bridge. That will give us a really good view of both. You just look at this place. So here it is. We're finally entered into the park. So Capitol Reef. Yeah, just look at this place. So once we get past Fertitta, we'll be climbing up to get past Fertitta. We'll climb to around 8,000 feet for the rest of the flight. So yeah. Just look at this place. Actually, I'm going to do something different. I'm going to not do the autopilot. I just want to see what flying around this place is kind of like the canyons. We should get some absolutely insane screenshots from here. So this is the Fremont. A lot of this goes from Utah State Route 34. The Fremont River cut through a lot of this area. It was cut by the Fremont River. This is just too cool. Look at this area here. That's just too cool. This is just too cool. Look at this place. Capital Reef. Yeah, I can definitely see why I got the Reef nickname. This is very difficult rock to pass. So, just super cool to see. Just a so. Capitol Dome is not far. Let's see if I can even land here. If not, there'll be a different place I'll land. Maybe. So here it is, Capitol Dome. So we'll just take a picture. I can't really land a Capitol Dome, but here it is. Here is Capitol Dome. That is where I think we'll fly near Hickman Natural Bridge. Let's see if we can get a landing spot near the Natural Bridge. So there is Navajo Dome. See that dome over there? There's Navajo Dome. This is one of the most famous landmarks in the park. To our right. So yeah, there's Navajo Dome right here. So we'll land near we'll try and find Hickman Natural Bridge. Now it may not be the smoothest landing, but so. Oh, okay. Ah, here it is. This over here is where the natural bridge would be. I know it may not reflect in the sim, but here is the natural bridge here at Capitol Reef National Park. But of course, sometimes the sim does not really show it. So there it is, the natural bridge. So here we are, guys. We made it past the natural bridge. this is just a very striking location. Now, this here is the town of Fertia. There's one of the main settlements. There's Fertia. Really cool area. Look out! Whoop. Whoop-de-doop. Woo-wee. I'm out of here. Made it out of here. How to stop all this lag. Yep. So, yep. Absolutely incredible scenery here today at Capitol Reef. So we're going to continue on moving forward into the next waypoint. Yeah, we're going to continue on forward. But look at this place. What an absolutely insane scenery here, guys. Let's see. 6, 7, 8, 9. Just this is absolutely insane. Look at the folds of this place. Just the sheer rocks of this fold. You can see how all the geology works. With the upfold and the S shape, you can definitely tell it creates some absolutely striking things of rocks and stuff. But yeah, very, very interesting park to visit. So to our left is the Golden Throne, one of the mesas and boots at the park. Yeah, what an absolutely gorgeous park. Just the sheer amount of rocks and cliffs is just impressive, to say the least. So we're going to continue on this way for another 7 nautical miles. We'll continue on forward down even more through the park. But after that, we'll continue on for another 14 nautical miles. Really cool stuff through the entire thing. So really cool. So we're going to continue, like I said, we're going to go through the entirety of the rock formation folds of this park. So we get to see much more of the scenery and stuff. But yeah, just very, very striking in general. Just a very striking place to visit. So we'll continue on forward through this direction. We just got around 42 nautical miles left to go on this trip. So to our left, of course, we got Mount Pennell to our left. Yeah, just super striking place. I'm blown away with how beautiful the scenery is in this update, especially for this area. Just absolute incredible scenery here. Just absolute. Like I said, this planet is so incredible in many ways. The way Earth had built this here over the years with natural processes. So, absolute gorgeous. So. We'll go through the last parts of the park. This will be our last major section of Capitol Reef National Park before we enter into our final stop at Boulevard Basin Airport. Oh, you're done? Oh, that can't be good. Sorry to hear about that, Super Typhon. That's not good to hear. So we'll continue on this way, but yeah, the scenery here is just outstanding today. Absolutely gorgeous. Absolutely gorgeous scenery. So we'll continue on this way. So, so yeah, our next national park is Guadalupe Mountains National Park here in beautiful Texas, of course. Absolutely stunning park. So, we're gonna actually. I decided to change my mind. We're gonna change the waypoint. We're gonna go straight to the airport. Um, so, yeah, what an absolutely incredible flight. Let's see. 2, 3, 4, 5. So we'll continue on the way to the final leg. So yep, here we go, guys. Rovo, here we come. So, so yeah. I hope you guys enjoyed this fight. This was absolutely fantastic, guys. We got one final lane left to go. 13 nautical miles out into Bullfrog Basin. Should be an absolutely incredible stuff. But I've had a total blast here over the last two streams with the update. It's been an absolute blast. So cannot wait to check out more. So we're going to go ahead and descend. So guys, I can't wait. So we got one last game day flight, of course. We're going to be heading to we're going to head to New Rutherford in New York. So we'll do the World Cup final flight. So we'll do some. We'll have a trip over to New York, of course. We might do some flying across New York itself, or I think more likely we're going to take a business jet into Teterboro. We'll probably take the. I'll take the Plus PC-24 in Teterboro. We'll probably do some flying from there, of course. Probably from my home airport over to Teterboro, of course, would probably be where we're going to have the World Cup final. So here we go. Very short landing soon after, of course. So Bullfrog Basin's probably around over here. Probably around here is Bullfrog Basin. So. So there it is, everyone. We finally made it to our final stop here in Bullfrog Basin. I hope you guys enjoyed your all's trip to Capitol Reef National Park here in Utah. So we'll be back with another with our game day flights. So we're gonna go ahead and find someone to raid, and I think we're gonna raid Charlie Foxtrot. He's doing a national park stream as well on his own channel. So we're gonna raid Charlie Foxtrot. So we'll be back on Friday for a game day flight. We'll be back for our game day flight for the World Cup final, of course. Hopefully it's Spain versus England, but we'll fly from our home airport in Clark County into Teterboro. So we'll see you guys then. Take care, everyone, and have a great rest of your day. See you soon.